Hey, are you a student who feels just constantly overwhelmed? Like you're running on fumes and the tank is always empty? Well, that feeling, that's not just stress. It could actually be burnout. And today, we're going to break down exactly what that means, how to spot the signs, and most importantly, how you can start to fix it. Let's dive in.
First things first, if you're feeling this way, you are far from alone. Just look at this number. We're starting here because it's pretty staggering. Research shows that somewhere between 40 and 55% of college students are dealing with burnout. That's almost half. So yeah, this is a huge deal, and it's happening to a lot of us.
So what is student burnout, really? Well, it's way more than just a tough week or pulling a couple of all-nighters. It's a specific condition, even recognized by the World Health Organization, that happens because of long-term, unmanaged stress. It really boils down to three things: feeling exhausted, feeling detached, and seeing your performance drop. Let's tackle that first one, because it's usually the most obvious.
Okay, sign number one is an exhaustion that feels different. It's so deep that sleep doesn't even seem to fix it. We're not just talking about being tired from studying late. No, this is a constant, bone-deep fatigue that just hangs around day after day.
Burnout isn't just in your head. It shows up in your body. When you're stressed all the time, your body is flooded with this hormone called cortisol, and that stuff just wreaks havoc on your system. It messes with your sleep cycle, which is why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling drained. It can also cause headaches, make you catch every cold going around. Basically, it's your body waving a big red flag and telling you something's gotta give.
Here's the thing, you can't just sleep this off. You have to be strategic and actively manage your energy. So, here's a protocol to try. Work in super focused 90-minute sprints. Then, and this is key, take a real 20-minute break. Get up, walk away from the screen, do something completely different. Pair that with a solid sleep routine, especially a no screens rule for the hour before bed, and you'll give your brain a fighting chance to actually recharge.
All right, let's move on. I want you to ask yourself this question, and be really honest. Think about your major, your classes, the stuff that once got you fired up. How does it feel now? Does it feel like a passion, or has it started to feel like just a chore? Because that feeling leads us straight into our second sign of burnout.
When you're that physically and mentally drained, your emotions start to take a hit. And that's when we see what I call the cynicism creep. It's like your brain, as a form of self-protection, starts building a wall between you and your schoolwork. It's just too exhausting to keep caring so deeply when you feel like you have nothing left in the tank.
And this cynicism can be sneaky. At first, it might just sound like you're complaining more about a professor or griping that an assignment is pointless, but it's actually a really deep sense of disconnection. Maybe you get a good grade on a paper you worked hard on, and you just feel nothing. No rush of pride, no satisfaction. That emotional numbness is a huge indicator that burnout is taking hold.
So how do you fight this? You have to reconnect with your original purpose, your why. This purpose mapping exercise is a fantastic way to do that. Seriously, sit down and write out why you chose this major in the first place. What were you excited about? Then try to find ways to link what you're doing right now, even the really boring stuff, to those big, real-world goals you have.
Now, this next sign might be the most maddening one of all. It's what we call the performance paradox. You feel like you're working harder than ever, you're putting in more hours, but your grades are slipping. It literally feels like you're trying to run through quicksand.
This chart says it all, right? Your effort is way up here, but your results are down there. And listen, this isn't because you're lazy or not trying hard enough. It's because chronic stress is literally impairing your brain's ability to function. In fact, some studies show burnout can slash your cognitive performance by as much as 30%.
Does this sound familiar? You read the same paragraph 4 times and still have no idea what it said? Or you're in an exam and you can't recall a concept you studied. These aren't signs you're failing. They're classic neurological symptoms of burnout. Your brain's battery is just critically low. Okay, so the fix here is to start thinking like an emergency room doctor. You have to practice academic triage. You've got limited cognitive energy, so focus it only on what is absolutely essential. This is the time to let go of perfectionism. Done is better than perfect is your new mantra. And try to shift your mindset from I have to get an A to I just need to understand this one core concept. It takes the pressure off and ironically can actually help you learn more effectively.
When we're completely drained, what's one of the first things we tend to cut? Our social life. It just feels like it takes too much energy, right? And that leads to sign number 4, social withdrawal.
You start pulling away from friends, from family, from the very people who are your support system.
And this is where things can get really scary, because it creates this vicious cycle. You feel exhausted, so you isolate yourself. But that isolation makes you feel even more alone and disconnected, which then makes the burnout even worse. It's a downward spiral that you have to consciously decide to break.
Look, I know it feels like the absolute last thing you have the energy for, but the fix is to force yourself to connect. I want you to think of it like a prescription from a doctor, a connection prescription. Don't wait until you feel like being social. Actually schedule it. Aim for 3 meaningful interactions a week, even just a coffee or a phone call. And try being open with a close friend. Let them know, hey, I'm struggling right now, and if I seem distant, it's not about you. Finally, if burnout goes unchecked for too long, it can lead to its deepest, most serious stage, a complete loss of meaning. This is more than just being stressed. It's a full-blown existential crisis where you start to question the entire point of what you're doing.
You might find yourself constantly thinking, what is the point of all this? You feel trapped in your major, and you just can't see how that brutal chemistry class connects to any future you actually want. This is a big one. Around 22% of students who reach this stage seriously consider changing their major, not because they lost their passion, but because the burnout has just erased their sense of purpose.
To pull yourself out of this, you have to find a way to make your studies feel real again. Go find someone who has your dream job and interview them. Ask how they use the skills you're learning right now. Go volunteer in your field for a few hours. Create a big visual roadmap on your wall that literally draws a line from today's assignment to that ultimate career goal. You have to reconnect the dots.
Phew. Okay, so we've gone through the 5 big signs of burnout and a concrete fix for each one. Now, let's just pull this all together and wrap up with a couple of really important final thoughts.
If there is only one thing you remember from all of this, please let it be this. Experiencing burnout is not a personal failure. It is not a sign that you are weak or that you can't handle it. It is simply a signal. It's your body and your mind's completely normal response to being under chronic stress for too long, and it's telling you that something needs to change.
And here's the really good news. You can absolutely recover from this. It's not just possible, it's highly achievable when you have the right strategies. By putting even a few of these fixes into practice, you can get your energy back, rediscover your purpose, and build the resilience to prevent this from happening again.
So I want to leave you with a question. Don't look at this whole list and feel overwhelmed all over again. Just pick one thing. What is one small thing you can commit to doing today to start protecting your energy and your well-being? Because that one tiny step, that's the beginning of your entire recovery.